ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Checks.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the region of the geographically challenged. We are here once again for ESL Challenger Season 52, Cup 2. For Asia, it's been a decent run so far of events, and ultimately we come to our grand final between FengDa and BMZ. My name's Conky, alongside Pilski, and Pilly, look, we've had the privilege of walking through a couple of scrappy affairs these last few days, so it's good to be back here for the grand final.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. We've had some really good games. I very much enjoyed Alter Ego and Cube. I think last night, FengDa upsetting Alter Ego and, kind of plugging away, doing quite well for themselves was great to watch. Some good resilience from them. And now they must take on BMZ, the team that knocked them into the lower bracket in pretty concise fashion. And we'll decide who's going to join Morningstar in that Season 51 ECL Finals.
Absolutely no idea which way this one's going to go. As we mentioned before, the previous matchup was like a 13-9, 13-4, I believe. Quite a dominant affair from BMZ. It's got a good opportunity, I suppose, for FengDa to step up, because we did have them take down Alter Ego yesterday. Before that, it was Alter Ego taking down the Cube, as we covered off on the lower bracket run. Didn't keep our eyes onto that upper bracket, but we have sort of had a little bit of an understanding of, where these teams have come from and what their tournament has looked like. I suppose, again, it's just kind of us getting a bit of an eye on the Tier 2 talent, I suppose, as many events are sort of coming up. Mongolia, throughout China, throughout Oceania. Just before this, obviously, we did have Semperfi take down Rooster in a relatively quick 2-0 affair to secure Cup 2 for Oceania as well. So get to see now who's going to be taking home the big chunk of change, obviously on that $5,000, and then also the secondary is going to be picking up that 3K. So again, here's the lower bracket that we have witnessed for most of this competition. Alter Ego had a pretty smooth run through, a little bit of strain by the Cube, who also took down Morningstar. Rare Adam getting dropped in that lower bracket too, and then ultimately, last night's game in FengDa over Alter Ego, Pilly.
We'll see how this one does end up going. It was a bit of a whitewash in that upper finals, so I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to get a similar story over to Oceania. I think Oceania, we got pretty much the expected result. Rooster had a rematch up against Semperfi from earlier on in the bracket where they got stomped, and guess what? It was much the same story the second time around. But I think these two teams might be I'm hoping a little bit more closely matched, and maybe it's just a bit more of a case of form, because this is less of a domestic matchup where we will get Mongolia versus China in the final here. BMZ, you can see, did qualify for the grand final by beating FengDa, and FengDa are going to have another crack at them here. So, did see earlier, this is for $5,000 prize money. Second place will get $2,500. And of course, the first place team does find their way into the ECL finals, and you'd want to be qualifying into the ECL finals through this cup in particular, because I think if some of the other heavy hitters maybe have a bit better of a run, don't get knocked out as early, or maybe the teams that are a bit more stressed about the VRS cutoff and things like that come and participate in the further cups, then it might get a little bit harder to qualify for the finals going forward.
Absolutely, and obviously that's going to be an event with a fair bit going on inside it. It should be very, very exciting, obviously, having some of the oceanic teams and everything join like that. That's been the thing that we've kind of been itching for lately, is seeing more teams kind of compete at that regional sort of location. I guess, we're sort of itching again to try have a few more lands where we've got the Asian, Oceanic, Middle Eastern kind of representation, getting them all on the same page as best as possible. But focusing in on BMZ, first of all, obviously a reintroduction of the team. They've already made their way into the upper bracket. Stats, very, very interesting. Obviously, seeing that firm Inferno ban, and then a reintroduction as well from FengDa, Trash, 3GL, P5P, Fufu, or Marek. Marek was actually very, very impressive yesterday, Philly. The coach rolling back the years, as we did mention, he was, hitting some serious shots and having a hell of a lot of impact in the server. But at the end of the day, for us, it was really FengDa that kind of stepped up and looked like the better team, better, well-oiled machine up against Alter Ego, who were just a little bit too individual, I guess you would say, in their style.
Yeah, perhaps. I think maybe just a bit of an underperformance. I think, in this kind of a tournament, you've got someone like Brat who's maybe going on 6 a.m. trying to all-buy GL on 100 ping. It's not really conducive of going to be the most competitive version of Alter Ego you've ever seen. But no excuses. They should still be able to overcome a team like FengDa most days of the week. And I think FengDa had potential to win all 3 maps as far as I'm concerned. So, they well and truly earned that victory, stopped them on the last map. Can see the last confrontation between these two teams. Ancient 13-4 and Mirage 13-9. And if you go back to that previous match between these two teams, you did have Ancient being picked by BMZ and FengDa picking Mirage. So I'm keeping an eye on the veto to see if anything changes up going into this final. I think that the burden is definitely on a team like FengDa to change things up. If they want to try to go for a little bit of a different approach and have a better chance in this final. And if they don't, then I guess that's kind of them saying that, hey, we just didn't play particularly well, and maybe we'll change things up this time around. Different first bans for both of these teams. It was Inferno out from BMZ. This time it's Nuke out. Same ban from FengDa, Overpass. It will be the Ancient pick. Inferno will be picked there by FengDa. So previously you did have that banned by BMZ. This time you will have FengDa try to punish pick. Mirage and Anubis go out, and Dust 2 will be the decider, which was the same decider left unplayed in the upper final between these two teams.
Be interesting to see whether or not we're actually going to be needing it. But, again, with slots for the Oceanic and Asian Pacific Cup on the line, looking to join Thunder Down Under, Semperfi, who secured their spot today, and then obviously Morningstar from Asia Cup #1. Obviously, a few more opportunities as well, with 3 and 4 cups coming up over the next few weeks. And then the main event, obviously, is going to be in the sort of end of May, looks like, overall, which will be played online, obviously. So I think, a few of the Oceanic teams might try to find themselves in a better location with some better ping. But irrespective, we're gaming. We're here. It's FengDa up against BMZ, starting here on Ancient.
BMZ starting out on the T side. This is their map pick yet again here. And they won it pretty dominantly last time around. Mello straight out into middle. Marek playing full retake on that part of the map. FengDa did stack up towards the B site, and unfortunately that will leave them out of position as this A hit starts to come in from the Mongolians.
Yeah, really, really tricky now. It's going to make it awkward for sure. Have a little bit of a rotation coming around for Marek early. They obviously do have the kit in hand as well, so there's an opportunity for them to try and find something here. But 3GL is going to open up nicely on towards Fury first of all. Inside the donut now, rotation starts to come through from spawn, smoke off main. That might give them some extra space, but 3GL, bit of a task here. He's actually trying to pull them out of donut, which has been very, very successful so far. Rita not going to be able to hit anything just yet as he does get dropped by P5P. They're actually onto the defuse now. Can't tell if he got taken down inside that smoke. Yep, they're off it. It's not going to be enough time. I don't believe it's going to be tight. Nah, Magnums gets it done. It would have been very, very close irrespective, Pilski. And that's going to be the opening round going the way of BMZ.
Yeah, it did feel like FengDa had a bit of a misread on what was happening in that pistol, but still had a nice retake plan for A. Couldn't quite pull it off. Great spams back on through the smoke there from BMZ, despite all the CTs flooding in and trying to cause chaos. They were not quite able to make it work. So despite having a fair few kills there isn't really much of an investment at all here for FengDa. They're not going to try to force round 2. It's a big A stack, and once again, BMZ heading in that direction.
Where are they going to see themselves? Into the stack. Depends on what pressure is going to be coming through. Trash able to pick up one, but like everyone else is mostly comfortable. Mello's going to be able to find another couple. So, look, 3 alive ain't too bad, especially as they run into the stack. They're confident. They trade it out. And they'll secure a second round here as well.
They just hit fast forward on that anti-eco. Definitely fine with me. Get a couple more of those. Would have liked to see FengDa maybe come away with one more there. Wonders was very low indeed, but barely stays alive and able to trade out the MAC-10 for a Galil. So 3 rifles kept through for BMZ. They head into this first gun round here. A little bit of damage done by FengDa, who are immediately straight into the buy. And I don't mind the round 2 eco if you're going to put it all in 3GL's hands right off the bat.
Obviously a player that's had a hell of a lot of impact throughout this one. Marak, unfortunately, though, does die inside house. Taken out of his own home. Walls made red. Now as we see the further control from Mello here in towards Cheetah. Really just that mid-presence to start us off in the round here. Rita, not quite spotting out P5P. I think that was a bit of an awkward line. He actually takes down Magnums as well, Pilski. Afufu dropping Fury. So a round that started very successfully for BMZ here has quickly turned on its head.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Mongolian playstyle in a nutshell. It is loose. They love to take some individual liberties, which can work out fantastically if you've got the boys firing on all cylinders. But at the same time, when you spread out a little bit all over the place, you can, unfortunately, concede some gaps that can be taken advantage of. Mello in transition on shelf. Wonders rather spotted out bottom middle, which is actually enough aggro for Mello to swing off of that and punish the peak from P5P. Trash next up to bat, shouldering around, almost caught off guard. He's in between a rock and a hard place right now, waiting for a Fufu to get involved.
Nicely done from Trash and a Fufu, clearing house. Again, the opportunity was there. It was presenting itself, but even the AWP recovered as well by a Fufu. So a good recovery, a good reconnaissance mission from FengDa inside mid. And they'll be happy with that one to at least get a round on the board.
Yeah, money's a bit skew now for BMZ. Fury with 1,400. So indeed, as you often see in round number 4 here, if you get the round 2 save from the CTs, the Ts will force buy, and it will be a bit of a weird buy. A couple of hero rifles. Gonna be all eyes on Wonders. See what he can get done. He's gonna have to really live up to his name with that AK. You're gonna have a good round here for BMZ.
Bit more of a slower approach here. Mid control gathered very, very quickly as Marak now moving up towards the shelf. Not going to be in for a rude awakening just yet, though, as they still sit behind the doors. They've done a good bit to clear here. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they've got a few members here ready, waiting to try and deny, but Marak getting away with it for free.
I just love how Marak's playing at the moment. Like, this is, as far as I understand it, a stand-in coach, and he is just hyper aggro, taking angels with some Mongolian players, known to be very sharp indeed. It's away with it on shelf. Gives the man advantage over to FengDa. Now a high-low in cave as well as Wonders meets up with the rest of the boys.
Makes it tricky, doesn't it? They're unable to trade this. Rita, the only one inside Cheetah. Magnums and Fury just with those pistols. And they're running out of time, Pilski. 35 seconds left on the clock. Still unsure as to where they want to head with this. The setup is just so good. You'd assume that there's a level of calling here from Marak in that position. Now the utility does start to make its way in. Already forward thinking though from Trash, so they will clear out and get those Molotovs in. It's a pretty decent take, all things considered, with that utility. Trash looking to line up one. Fury dropped very, very low. Marak forced into an awkward line, but again, it's just going to be nice and comfortable here for the members of FengDa. Trash to drop the finale, and they type the scoreline nice and quickly. Money broken for BMZ, and FengDa have a little bit of a wriggle on.
Yeah, I mean, already they're probably going to put themselves in a better position than the last time they played Ancient against BMZ. Maybe it was a bit of an off game. Marika abandoning the high-low to go an Under Armour flash towards ramp side, and it was a split-second decision in the last 20. Ends up working out very well for FengDa as the rest of the team flood in on backside of the site. BMZ now picking up a couple of digs, but outside of that, there's not much for them to play with in this round. Mid-control dominated by FengDa. Mello's already dead on the B side of the map, trying to go for a bit of a missed pick towards ramp, and the rest of BMZ, let's see what they can fashion over at A.
GL very much trained on towards that line. Does actually miss the shot. Makes it a little bit more uncomfortable for a quick second, but obviously with all the other members flooding on in, there's going to be no strain in any way, shape, or form. Nice and clean there. Good hold of the house. And yeah, FengDa, they will take the lead quite quickly into this one. So no real momentum secured from either of these teams straight out the gates. And this will be the first sort of round to give us a bit more of a story, Pilski, about where this first half could really go.
I mean, the money is fantastic for FengDa. They're already in a great position here on Ancient CT side. The buy still doesn't really fill you with a whole lot of confidence from BMZ. They're lacking a lot of util, and that ended up biting them in the butt when they forced it in round 4. Gonna have some stronger decision-making in the mid to late round. Early smokes invested as flashes fly up over the top to try to set up Fury inside a middle. Mellow at least able to win that duel on shelf side and give the T's the man advantage. Traded by 3GL, but Wonders was very quick on that one, and now they're up into B.
Gonna be a tough one for P5P to try and hold on to, but he actually does make his way through the molly. Wonders will quickly deny, however. I do like this position still being held by Fury. They do seem to be aware of it, however. And now that should give them at least some more space to save. I don't think they're going to be looking to invest into this one in any way. Just take the weapons out and think about the next round, Pilski. But, yep, at the very least, you know, we see BMZ get straight back into the game. It continues to be a bit of a back and forth.
Yeah. Looks like the last time these two teams played, you had 4 rounds on the CT side for FengDa, 2 courtesy of the pistol. So once the gun rounds got rolling around, that's where BMZ really started to pick up some pace. So seeing a round 1 with some very sharp entries that easily by Wonders is a little bit worrying. Marek's going to go down as well. BMZ chipping away at FengDa's economy. They get through with 1 or 2 more good gun rounds like that one. They may just again go on a dominant streak like they did the last time these teams played on Ancient.
Just so interesting going into the next map of Inferno, right? You know, BMZ, no real reps on it. Complete change up of the pool. Didn't get to see Dusk 2, obviously, as he mentioned in the previous matchup either, so could be a completely different story in this grand final on the rematch, but straight up mid, Marek again. I just keep repeating the amount of impact here, but look at this walk down completely dry from P5P. And you can already see that it has definitely caught them off guard a little bit. Wonders also traded by Trash. He was there. So, man, FengDa, they have just gotten absolutely away with murder there over towards B. Drop the bomb, and Magnum's got... I mean, he gets one, right? But there's a hell of a long time for him to try and attempt to save here.
I feel like Coach is leading by example right now. FengDa, in general, very bloodthirsty in their approach, getting very aggressive and in the face of a team that no doubt likes to do the same. Fury 0-6 as the highest rated player in this competition coming into this series is probably not great news for BMZ, if I'm honest. 1.3 overall over 6 maps. Will bring down his average a little bit unless he can have a bit of a resurgence. Magnums has already found a smoke bang, but that's the 3rd smoke he's been staring at in the same position, and I dare say he's getting sick of looking at grey screen. Only tickles his toes. The CT's well aware that he's nice and close, and trying to underarm some HEs for a little bit more chip damage. There's 2 mollies to follow that up. I mean, with 30 seconds on the clock, there's just no way that Magnums can even attempt to get the bomb here.
Been a long haul, hasn't it? Whole minute 20. 10 seconds to go, and it looks like he should be able to save this one through. But at what cost, right? What's the money looking like that's going to come into this next round for the side of BMZ? It's not really enough, is it? I guess they'll probably want to force around the AWP, but maybe not. Maybe just some light pistols.
Yeah, good reply from FengDa. And that really is courtesy of them building up their economy so nicely and having such clean anti-ecos. They get another chance to right their wrongs after a nice gun round from BMZ gets through. A little bit lighter on the util yet again here, but Magnums has the AWP, and Fury looking undeterred by the fact that he's being slapped in mid, round in, round out, still awaiting inside of that smoke. Double nade straight onto Rita and Magnums. Good for what? 65, like 110 damage there. Mellow with the entry onto Trash as well. A lot of pressure on this B site now.
I was going to say, yeah, it didn't even really feel like it mattered with the amount of control that he was able to find there. Marek's going to have to try and pick up the pieces as he heads over towards Shelf, but the Molotov will keep him at bay. Now he has to look back towards bottom mid, but the Molly's actually helped him out almost here. It's made him reposition, look back down towards bottom mid. Now he's peeling away, and despite all this control, Pilski, the bomb is still over towards A. Mello does find a second, but he's now taken low. The HE from a Fufu should dunk. Not quite. He just misses the mark here. Afufu almost unlucky to be taken. I think the bomb is actually going to be dropped over towards A. Yeah, that is a horrible, horrible misplay to come through.
I mean, they just expected a rotate that never came. There was so much pressure on that B site, but Marek never left. This guy just has not made a single mistake in this competition. It's kind of insane how well he's playing. And on the other side of things, like I said, I hate to harp on it. I mean, we'll hold that thought for a second, but Afufu, nice flank onto Magnums. It's all on Ritter. Also, a very highly rated player in the competition right now, coming into this final. Ritter, 1.25 over 6 maps. Hasn't really done much on this T side, but Fury is the one that I'm looking at. 0-7 right now on the T side. He's the best player in this comp. He's 1.38 over 6 maps. So he has really just been battering everybody for BMZ, but in this final so far, he's kind of getting outdone by Marek. I think he's been first picked bottom mid, or free picked multiple times. So I kind of wonder what's going on with him.
The Marek effect. That he's been hitting some pretty decent shots, and, you know, whilst he might not be top of the scoreboard, Pilly, he's obviously got a hell of a lot of impact, as mentioned. Now Mello all the way up around elbow. Does actually get the kill onto P5P. Crash is going to just hold, wait for the rest of the team. Fury drops the Fufu, and all of a sudden, BMZ may well and truly be back in towards this round 2. Going to buy that additional time. 3GL, I don't actually know if he spotted the line. Mello's going to be able to rip his head off. Just in cave, and I think it is going to be FengDa considering the save once again, and the members of BMZ looking pretty hungry to try and find them.
Turtles and Cheetah. Mello goes down. But all that does is alert BMZ of these last few CT's positions. Hold on. Marek is on the defuse. I think he... Does he have time?
It's close.
I can't really tell. That is crazy. They've just left the site completely open, Mitch. And Marek, how is this guy so good? As a stand-in coach, he, like yesterday, he was 1v3ing Alter Ego. Today, he's bloody ninja defusing in the grand final. What the fuck is going on?
We love a 30-year-old talent, Marek. Again, rolling back the bloody years. Looking real good. And, yeah, just impact, outbraining them, right? He seems so calm and composed. So that's really kind of thrown a bloody spanner in the works here for BMZ. They've opted for another quick approach. The bomb's still down. And they managed to at least force them away for the time being here as well. The nade dunks further damage. FengDa well and truly in control of this one.
Fufu, so much pressure on the A side of the map. Pushes wonders away. It's effectively a 1-4 right now. Fury finally getting activated. Good couple of deke shots in the last opening up cave, but traded by P5P. Him and Trash have been a bit of a duo to lock down B a couple of times. Reader waiting for his opportunity as the rest of his team goes back for the bomb. The B execute is coming in now.
Reader, oh, bit unlucky there for P5P. Now Trash has to try to play forward from Pillar. He's going to be taken down. Fufu also falling. Marek, unfortunately, the previous round looked very, very good, but I think this one might be a little bit too much for you to bite off and shoot. So he's just going to have to save this M4 into the next. Money, it's fine. Marek can actually probably drop over 2, so it'll be enough to fashion something together, but it could be a reset round in the next for BMZ.
BMZ a little slow to get going, but you do kind of start to get the sense that they're getting warmed up as we go deeper into this T side. Marek, be great for him to stay alive in Temple here. He's got a full belt to util, and as you mentioned, a fair bit of money. This guy, it's unbelievable. He looks so sharp, so much sharper than I ever remember. I haven't seen him play in years, but an OG of the Chinese CS scene. And it's just phenomenal how well he's playing for FengDa right now. Like, honestly, with how good this guy's been, like, it's listed him as coach on HLTV. I assume he's standing in. I don't know if that's necessarily the case or what the situation is. And, you know, I've heard that this team is somewhat of an academy team or something like that at times. But regardless, at this point, like, put him in the roster.
Wouldn't disagree. Actually just trying to look back, and it does actually look like in this tournament, they were playing with a player called Zai? ZY?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he's the player that's unavailable for now. And Marek's ultimately subbing in. And yeah, he was kind of the reason at times why they were able to pull through some of those rounds in the previous map that could have very well turned the momentum.
Maybe the couch quarterback has just said, hold my beer, and benched him on the roster and said, watch this. We're winning the final.
It's literally, the dad on the couch watching footy, but he actually can play in the server. He goes down to the MCG, kicks one from 60 out.
I am fully here for this storyline. I don't know how many of our Asian fans will understand what the hell we're on about, but Fury, I mean, it's just not getting any better for him, is it? That is a flash over the top with the HE breaking the smoke, and he's caught with his pants down. And disadvantage now for BMZ. Had a good little run the last couple of rounds, and let's be honest, Rita is pretty close on cave side here, so this could still go wrong for FengDa.
Oh, this is going to be, a bit of an overstep there from P5P. Having to rely on Trash again, who's already found 2 in this round. 3GL, awkward position just on the other side of the smoke. Rita will replenish, so they're going to have some additional time to get in towards this site. Back to the 3-on-4. They will settle for a quick moment.
Only one flash to get back in, but that's on a Fufu on shelf side, so no real util that's going to help the boys get back into the site. Magnums catches one on the cross, and FengDa starting to get a little hot under the collar now. No
how
kit.
Much time they've got to get into this pillar. Yeah, Rita has dropped down another. Now they have to move around elbow, and again, it's going to be onto Trash to try and get something done, but they've looked a little bit disjointed on this retake. Trash does get another. Magnums and Wonders are able to walk away with their lives and the round. They'll be able to save the weapons, though. It's going to be a little tight. No, they'll be fine. All good. So, yeah, very close opening half in the end. Will it be 7-5 or 6-6? We'll find out in the next round. But a lot of back and forth and just still shifting the control very aggressively.
Money's cooked for FengDa. BMZ just getting it done in the fashion that you'd expect. Good old, Mongolians getting into good positions, hitting some sharp shots and just getting some good timings. It's, pretty simple CS, sometimes a little bit less structured than you might see. Marek is just running it down middle. Goes 1-for-1 with Magnums early on there. Things will reset for now. Bomb is dropped at the bottom of B ramp, and look at the CTs. They've already walked all the way down.
Will they spot it?
He checked for it. I don't know if he saw that.
Don't think he's seen it, no. It must have been just behind the box in the corner. Oh, very rough.
I mean, it could still work out, though. P5P, this is a pretty decent flank timing. Trash is in a great position as well. 1:10 on the clock. The red room smoke only now just came out.
There it is. Very big opening pick. Will P5P be able to continue this streak? However, no, not quite, but he does get the trade in the end. Trash finds Mello! Oh, wow. What a flick from the MP7. Okay, this game is definitely living up to some different expectations to what we saw in that opening series only 2 nights ago, Philly, where BMZ basically pantsed FengDa and made him do a nudie run around the block. But for the time being, FengDa is going to be holding on to that lead 7-5. Will they be able to continue the streak and pick up the pistol? Find out after the halftime. Welcome back. We see a 7-5 half as it stands between FengDa and BMZ. And all I can say is so far, FengDa have secured more rounds than they did in their opening map in the first series a couple of days ago, with their greater record being a 13-9 loss. So already looking quite good in this series on this map of Ancient. And yeah, it looks like all members are kind of firing on all cylinders. What's the opening pick going to be looking like here? Is Magnus is going to have to be trying to hold this completely solo, Billy.
Got Dooley's in armor, and he's a bit of a gamer. Got the 6-7 score line, if you know, you know. Oh, Ritter, though, from Donut. Really harassing them on the cross. Fury getting involved as well, and Marek finally clearing up Ritter. Magnum's under pressure now as Trash clears him up, but the bomb dropped in middle. This is just a little bit of a cluster of fun for the T's, and Mello is hitting absolutely everything tonight. Fury finishing it off. He's doubled his kills now in their CT pistol. If Fury starts to get online, it's going to be curtains for FengDa.
Fortunately, 7-6, not the alternative, Pilski. But yeah, pretty happy start or return to form here from BMZ. We've got to see if the CT side is going to fare them a little bit better than the T side did. But this is a very good opening effort for them to try and obviously make that happen here. So just pistols up, bit of a force in from FengDa.
Yeah, smoke to red room. Looks like it's going to be a B pop here. We'll see how BMZ defend here, Mitch.
Straight up there. Through the smoke, through the fire. Marek able to get two. My God. Yeah, look. Marek stops for no one, unfortunately. Not even the age-old smoke plate.
I thought you were just going to say age. Not even for age does this man stop. It's just incredible.
Well, clearly
Get
not.
this guy on Tyloo. Honestly.
100%. Yeah,
I've
dude.
seen enough. Yeah, I'm young. Not so, like, washed, honestly, compared to Marek. Just incredible. Incredible player. Double entry just ends the round outright. And FengDa now up 8-6. You've got the save coming through here from BMZ, who will undoubtedly force buy around these 3 saved weapons. A very different game than the last time these two teams played on Ancient. 3GL was actually the standout for FengDa. I think CT side, he got like 20 kills. And in this game, he didn't do much. I don't even know if I remember him having an ult, to be honest.
No, no, no. What does the return to form look like now? This round's so damn important for BMZ to try and secure everything FengDa needs in the back pocket.
More pistols and SMGs in play. FengDa with the A contact. Marek with the deep A smoke there to try to set up the boys for success. But coming into Donut as well. Wonders try and defend this A site. He's just going to drop the smoke and try to buy time for the rotations to come in.
On that going down, Wonders. A little bit of a warning spray, but unfortunately, yeah, that gives up his hand very, very quickly. Exposed. Fury does get the trade, though, inevitably for the team into the 4-on-4 now. 5P going down. Fury straight out of Temple alongside the rest of his teammates. It's a 3-for out here. And it's going to have to be this reliance on the deep positions. You know, Marek with the MP9 inside Donut. And the rotation around from Trash as well, who does manage to find one. Marek now has to be the king, has to be the hero. But Magnums with a rogue shot straight through the smoke. Nicely played there as BMZ cling to dear life. And it is finally Magnums and Fury 5K activating, Pilski. You said we needed to see something from them. And they're finally showing up to the server.
It's the old eruption, boys. Always been pretty strong players in the Mongolian scene, thereabouts, kind of the top couple of teams for quite a long time. Been playing together for ages. FengDa, I think, a little bit of an overcomplicated post plant. You had Marek bottom middle and Trash flanking through B. Only 2 players actually inside of the site, and neither of them really bought much time. We'll have to go back and re-review that one, I'd imagine. Trash taking a lot of damage, trying to make his way up onto shelf. Ritter not really forced away there. Still able to post up on that info line towards Cheetah. The molly did not push him away, but Trash will.
Take out the Trash. Running in now. Real big task once again for Rita and Magnums to try and push this one back. any sort of entrance might allow the pace to be picked up from 3GL back B long, but smoke will replenish. That'll give him some additional time. Rita also taken down very, very low here.
HG's being traded back and forth as the red room smoke comes on up. Flash trying to unsettle FengDa. We still hold on to cheater control. Top mid smoke was blown open by Fury just to try to harass FengDa on their excursion through middle, but the bomb's still bottom of B long. I dare say this will be a B finish. The only thing FengDa are trying to do is set up Marek on this lurk and try to sell a couple of extra rotations, and I think they've done a pretty good job of that, to be honest.
Spacing is decent. Now this just forward thinking. Flash in to Cave. Mello not interested. Gonna go for a dry walk in. Actually, very, very bold. And they don't trade it in any way. What is that from Mello? Marek has to do it all solo. And I mean, look, I suppose there's a saving grace in Rita being very, very low behind the smoke here. They are going to be able to get the plant for 3GL. A little bit of a spray through. He does get peppered. They give away some information. But 2 flashes is all they have. Now just the singular. Want to try and have a little bit of a look here. Rita does get the spot. Marek has to swing in and he gets punished immediately. 3GL now trying to do it solo and Wonders will deny completely. That is a much better round from BMZ. I mean, they allow an opportunity to get in towards the B site, but they wait. They go as a 4. They're very, very patient. And then they secure the round.
I mean, Mello's just won them the round outright. Have a look at the highlight here, I'd imagine. He headbutts the smoke. So he messes up their smoke into the site and then decides to take 3 with him. Yeah, I think he's just won the round himself. He even takes 50 HP off Marek there. Absolutely gorgeous. He's really had a standout map here. 18 and 13. Plenty of impact on the T side. If BMZ come away with the dub here, I dare say it will be Mello for the MVP.
He's had a stellar game. You were thinking for a moment that FengDa might have been getting some revenge here early. But being reset now back onto the pistols does mean that we should very well see BMZ take the lead here. However, Pilski, good is always the favored word as Magnums misses his opening shot. Felt like a little bit of a sitter there actually as well. And a leg shot onto 3GL. That should give them some safe passage into the site and a late flank from Trash as well with that pistol. Oh no, Fury getting taken down. This could all of a sudden start to get a little bit sweaty. Trash with the warning shot onto Rita only takes him down to half. He just needs to keep him occupied, really. Gonna start flooding their way out. Donut, Rita does drop one, but P5P gets him back, and now they are on the site. It's not exactly the best position for them. They should just be able to defuse it very, very solid. There's one. Oh, goddamn. Remember Age of Empires, Pilski. You build a wonder, you win the bloody game. That's exactly what they've done here.
All the monks walking around. Oh,
Wallow.
He's absolutely wallowed them, let's be honest. Was only against pistols. P5P's done something special with the Glock there.
Yeah, still though, like, the fact that they managed to defend that is a good sign in the 3v5.
I mean, this guy's a bloody turret on top of the box. Back into another gun round, though. Full commitment over towards this B side of the map here for FengDa. Little bit of a lighter hold on this side of the map, because look how active BMZ are getting on the other. Wonder's already pushing straight through A. You can see Rita just trying to dig his skills into K. P5P absolutely decks Fury, though, in spawn site. Mello replying well onto Trash, so 4 and 4 for the post plant now. But you can't help but feel like FengDa are a little bit pinned into the site here.
Awkward as anything. They're able to hold on to this 4v4. Will bring them back to a tied scoreline. Again, the game of cat and mouse. We've not really had anyone steering the ship. It's just an argument. Nobody can agree on either side. Marek, first to take point, watch it down towards long. He might be able to do some damage. No, the blind makes it a little bit too awkward. Mello getting 2, but GL responds. All into Rita now. Does tap onto the defuse. I think P5P should have well and truly enough time to swing, and he does. Another round goes the way of FengDa. They will take the lead back. No, tied, rather. Sorry, I'm tripping. But irrespective, my comment still stands because it means that BMZ are going to have to dig deep into the pockets. Both the teams are pretty financially broke.
Pretty big swing round in round 19, as one of them will cracked the double digits. Magnum's back on the orb, as is 3GL. Trash back down to that MP7 that he did something special with at the end of that first half. I don't think I've seen anything like that for quite a while. FengDa out into B early. 3GL on the line. Catches a nade, but returns a shot a little better. That's the big hitter down for BMZ very early on here. Free to try to make a play out middle, but there's nobody there for FengDa. They are speeding up into B.
Very quick now. This would be 10. This would be a reset. Not quite hitting the shot there. Magnums does make the cross through. Fury waiting for that smoke to fade, trying to tap away and deny this plant, but it's not going to be happening for now. He does get one onto 3GL, though. A little bit of a blind one through the smoke here. Look at this rotation around, though, Pilski. That's what I've got my eyes on right now. Big boy Marek. If he can just have the team buy some additional time, just get the calling through his cleared house. Wonders gives up the audible onto Trash. There it is. All of a sudden, Marek does find that this is where it starts to turn on its head here, Pilski. Gonna have to be heavy lifting for Rita, who is on towards the site. Fury does drop Marek, and now it's all on the Trash. He's given up his hand. He's given up his position. But the Glock, he pulls it out. He pulls him off the smoke. Oh, my God. Is he going to be able to stick it? Is he going to be able to hold it? He does the damage, but I think that's enough time. Does he have it?
Oh, Trash has gone huge with the Glock there. The MP7 heroics are something special. Every time he buys it, I'm like, this guy has lost the plot. But he continually just pulls some craziness off time and time again.
Oh,
it
man.
wasn't even the MP7 that got it done. It was like the Glock running around.
Look at this.
No head armor. That's what really sucks for Rita there. Just got 100 to 0'd by a Glock at close range because he didn't buy head armor. You don't see that define a round too often.
That's why you watch Asian Counter-Strike, Pilski. Entertainment at its finest. Put it on pay-per-view. The aggression into main will not net any dividends, unfortunately, as they rotate off shelf the remaining members of BMZ. They're going to be going straight into Krispy Kreme, but unfortunately, it's all sold out. Let's get a couple of shots off, but Fufu's just going to stare into the face of adversity, take him down quickly. Mello trying to creep through. Well, even going to be able to deny the plant either, so this is a very quick and easy round. Fortunately, poor Fury is going to even be spotted out by Trash on the flank. That is 5 alive, 11 rounds secured for FengDa.
Playing a phenomenal game of CS right now. Fury down to an MP9, no util. Magnum's 3.3k. This is not the kind of money that you'd like to be fighting for the game with. FengDa just pretty no-nonsense approach. Straight up into the A site anti-eco there. And such a clean win. They built themselves quite a nice economy here. Right at the end of the game, in pole position to win it. Being 13 forward last time they played this map against this team. Only a couple of days ago.
All out Fury. Straight up long to try and get the 12th on the board. Fufu does get a couple here, but it's just continuing to be mellow. Okay, never mind. Potential chance here adopted by 3GL. Fury has to try and make his way straight through the fire and the flames, but unfortunately everyone's heard that Dragon Force song a couple too many times. Now 3GL inside the cave just holds the line. I think that was a 3 versus 5 to pull FengDa 2 map points. That's crazy. They'll have 3 rounds to try and close this one out, Pilski, on the opening map selection of BMZ, a map that they decimated FengDa on only a couple of days ago.
3GL just went crazy. He didn't really do much for the majority of this game, but that's a really big impact play. Holds on to the site as well, and it's clear how much faith there is in the teammates right now for FengDa, because that player just sat in the cheater corner while 3GL was fighting on the side by himself. Quick A execute. You can see BMZ trying to scramble into position from Donut, but with only SMGs and no flashes to enable this flood, you'd be surprised if it worked. Great opener from Fury to give them the man advantage. How much more magic can they conjure to stay alive here?
Guess who I've got my eye on? It's Marek. Still holding that flank, and whether the game of timing is going to fare him once again. Looking to go up close to this duel. He clears left, he clears right, and it's good night for Fury. 3GL holding the line. He's there alongside P5P, and now it's an awkward sort of boost that they've got to try and deal with here. Back turn to a Fufu. And it's all going to be on to Wonders, who just has absolutely no chance. He was a turret from this site previously against the Pistols, but up against the Buy and the all-out fury from FengDa. We see a 13-9 victory. Can't say I was expecting this straight out the gates, Pilski. That was some really heads-up play to come out from FengDa. They were looking confident. They were looking in it. And once again, Marek is just the GOAT.
Fantastic game from everyone included there from FengDa. Really, really excellent stuff. Felt like they came to play today. They had a good game plan. Maybe a little bit of an off game from some of the usual heavy hitters from BMZ. Shout out Mello. He had a fantastic game for himself. But even in an off game, you can see that BMZ is still a tough team to beat. So, look, not quite able to get the map pick that they won last time around so cleanly across the line. Now they've got to consider a little bit more of a curveball from FengDa. BMZ changing up their first ban, allowed Inferno into the pool, and FengDa has picked it. So let's see why BMZ have allowed that map into the pool and whether they've come prepared on it. They're going to have to. They're going to fit their spot at the ECL Asian final.
As I said, 13-4 is a big turnaround to then be punished down 13-9. So FengDa have, again, changed their play up. They look confident. They look well drilled. Everything is definitely paying off for them at this point in time. And as you mentioned with Inferno around the corner, it's a map that does very much reward momentum. So I think if they're able to keep up the pace there could very well be a genuine chance that they close this one 2-0. They find their way as victors of Cup 2 for Season 51 of ESL Challenger Asia. But obviously there's still plenty more time in the server that does need to occur. Dust 2 is there if we need it, if available. So yeah, look, we're going to run out the time. We're going to give you guys a little bit of a break. And then as soon as the next map in Inferno is ready to rock and roll, we'll see what FengDa is cooking or if it's going to taste pretty bad. Well, I hope you guys enjoy Fire, because that's exactly what we're going to be getting on Inferno here. Map number 2 for our grand final, and potentially the last if FengDa have got something a little bit sneaky for us here, Pilski, as we've sort of alluded to. Been an interesting bit of a curveball, I guess, into the veto here, with BMZ not really sort of putting it up there. They've obviously let it float, and it's been selected. And then also talking back to Trash, who had a pretty decent game back on Ancient 2. But I think you can sort of, second my thoughts that pretty much everyone on the side of FengDa did a great job.
Yeah, I loved what I saw from FengDa there. Mello, though, was the man of the hour, probably the best player in the server. And look, I think if he had a little bit more help from the rest of the guys in BMZ, then that might have been a dub for them. It wasn't a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. They just weren't blowing the doors off. And I think FengDa has stepped up to the occasion. So really, it begs the question, what has BMZ got prepared on a map like Inferno? Last time around, it was a different first ban from BMZ. In fact, I think the map that was banned out. This time they've let it through, where Mirage was the pick from FengDa last time around. So FengDa allowed to play Inferno. BMZ will have had to have prepped it, given that it has been kind of, what's the word? Like they've picked it, FengDa, and they've said, look, what have you prepped on this map? Are you going to be good on it? And if you're not, then we're going to 2-0 this final and make our way into the Asia Pacific finals.
It's pretty based for them to walk in that way, right? If they win, in essence, on a bit of a moral or mental technicality, the veto doesn't always tell the story, and, everyone should really know sort of how to play this one. But if it's a begging weakness, I'm sure we'll find out very, very quickly here as we roll into Inferno now between these two teams. And it's going to be a little bit of a usual sort of mid-set. I think they're ready to kind of break and enter through brackets here, Pilski. They are ready to go with 3 inside the apartments. Fufu does make quick work of 1, and looks like it's going to be Rita to try and defend here as well. Wonder's not from the other side of Boiler, but they've got all this control. But look how quick the round's buddy going, Pilski. I may as well just bloody keep on running, keep on talking, because it's all happening as Magnums is the last one standing here. He hasn't been spotted out through Library. Bomb is going to be planted, and as it stands, I think he should very well be spotted. Does drop Trash. Doesn't quite find the second. We do see the full rotation in now, but surely this is going to be a little bit too much for him to overwhelm here. Tag down, but as damage dealt, there is a genuine opportunity for him to make... What was that from Magnums? My God!
2 guns, 2 kills each. Make it 4. Unbelievable round from him. FengDa should have had that pistol every single day of the week, and Magnums has just committed daylight robbery. Gonna need something special after losing that last map for BMZ to pick themselves up by the bootstraps, but if a clutch like that doesn't get the boys pumped up, I don't know what will. Magnums has a crack with the AWP. The double mollies laid on in there from BMZ as they look to take some banana control, enabled by Fury's flash there. Here's the retake utility coming out from FengDa. Rita under a lot of pressure there. Hits the deck early on, and now it's just Mellow at sandbags.
Yeah, this is awkward. Does get a little bit of a help in quickly from Fury, but Marek already over at the top of the half wall trying to take point here. Mellow, though, continues to deny. He was a real bee in the bonnet of the side of FengDa on that previous map. Kind of the only one to step up to the party, as you said, but he has his head ripped off by Trash. Magnums, very bold and brazen to be looking to pick up the AWP into this early part of the map. Second round. I mean, you do get Wonders to take one back, but it's going to be only the defense from himself over towards this side of A. If they can find this, might be a very, very tough one to defend. Wonders has to try and go pretty nuclear from the back of side here. He'll get one, but then he's quickly traded. However, look at the pace. Already up there, trying to hold it. They do hear the footsteps, the pitter-patter. Bomb will go down. It should be a nice and easy clear, and unfortunately, Magnums, well, the gun barrel was spotted. He had the 1v4 in the previous, and this time it's not going to be happening. So, picks the team up, puts him in his backpack, but then unfortunately throws him off the cliff at the exact same next.
A good reply from FengDa. realized exactly the pacing that BMZ was taking banana control with, and then just really good retake set of utility to be able to take it right back off of them. Pivot into the A site worked perfectly, and they leveraged that to win the 2-on-2. Force buy and reply now from BMZ. Down to SMGs and 4 pieces of utility. That's it. He picks up a flash at the end of things there, but really not a lot to work with here. FengDa taking this one slowly. Ritter forced away. They're gonna use the couple of smokes that they have at B just to be able to continually block this choke point, but they can't really time the other team out of the round because they only have a couple of them.
A little bit to util across both sides of the map now. Rita trying to block that smoke, but it's not going to be happening.
I don't even know if he blocked it, and I don't even know if that's what the intended lineup was. Kind of goes halfway across main there, but maybe that's the thing. Regardless,
FengDa into pool.
Gonna go for the regroup back towards this A side of the map. It is a crossfire across jungle side between Magnums and Wonders. So FengDa do go for the jungle wrap, which is usually the high percentage A play here. They could be in for some trouble.
Gonna leave it. Poke off the archway. Okay. Straight into the claws. But Marek, he is going to be clearing, and he gets 2. Marek on the entry, Pilski. What you absolutely love to see. And also Rita to be taken down inside library. So, yeah, another relatively simple looking round so far for FengDa here. Just trying to cut them off at the knees, really, at this point in time. 3GL does miss a couple of shots here. Does pick up the important one, however. Now it's all left onto Fury, who is just sitting top mid. 3GL will pip him, thanks to the free AWP that was handed over to him by Magnums in that previous round. And FengDa are out, off to the races again.
Yeah, money's broken for BMZ early on here. Another quick start from FengDa, which is kind of worrisome for a BMZ who, look, needed a absolutely heroic play from Magnums on the pistol to even be competitive there, and it hasn't really done them many favors. They still find themselves playing from behind here quite substantially, and this is FengDa's map pick, so I dare say that looking at the economy, especially if this is a nice and clean round from the T's, they're going to be feeling very good about 2-0ing this final here. Could be quite a change of script from that upper bracket game.
What a turn of the tides, hey? Pretty alpha. Just look your opponents in the face of adversity, and I'm more impressed by the shot there from 3GL. Little bit of a flicky straight through the half wall, and a Fufu to drop Wonders. So this has just been a bit of a pantsing for the rounds that they have secured. It was only the 1v4 from Magnums in the opening pistol.
Yeah. Josh had a pretty nasty fadeaway. Might get to see it again. Here we go. Bang. Great spray transfer onto Mello there at the end of things. And the MP9 is going to be kept through from Afufu, so they're really trying to make use of every single gun possible here. Buy comes through here from BMZ. Missing a lot of flashes. We've got 1 flash from Magnums, and that's on the A side of the map, so we're not going to get any B-side re-aggression from the CTs here. Mello, I guess, is going to go for the retake set of utility, but with no flash to enable someone to actually peek into main, I don't know how well that's necessarily going to go for them.
Really just buying that time. Not overstepping their welcome on this B-side defense. It's going to be hard to break through if they do choose to go this route, but they still got plenty of time to work with. Pilski just letting Afufu feel out over towards A. Smokes down, flash into brackets, giving himself some visual. No real action.
1 smoke left on this B side of the map. That's all that BMZ have left to defend. Still a couple of HEs to break. FengDa prepping themselves for the B-pop, but this is a 3-stacked site here. This might be difficult.
Really sort of whittling down the clock, aren't they? 35 seconds. They choose to try and break through now. Crash does get one nicely onto the opening, and Marek boosting up over the top. Rita does take him down, but they've traded it out very, very nicely here, Pilski, and Afufu's just keeping them interested. 3GL should be able to find the site, find the plant. The rotation comes down quickly. Wonders hot on the heels of Afufu. But this is a pretty good setup here for FengDa. They're just going to have to try and buy the additional time. Rotations are uncomfortable for BMZ.
Ooh. Wonders checked on bottom banana. No util here for the CTs. That last HE does a pretty big chunk to Afufu. Wonders this is a critical duel to win, but Magnums actually helps him out. 3GL, 1-on-2. You know he's good for it. Incredible shots from Dark Corner. And once again, BMZ is broke.
Emo, but he's certainly not crying, is he? 8-1. Beautiful round from 3GL. He has just been hitting shots left, right, and center. But again, it's just those entries in, right? You know, a very, very clean approach in towards the side of B. They brought down their time. They weren't distracted by the utility, and they have just been locked the hell in on this map so far, Pilly.
Well, this is usually where BMZ is good for a random pistol round win, though. So, let's see if they can realize that potential. MP9's marching down banana straight to their death, unfortunately. The early lead here for FengDa. Marek continues to dish out some pain. One just goes down inside a balcony, and this round is kind of over before it got started.
Order as it should be. Oh! What? Was that what I think it was?
Doesn't matter, Marek's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Why are they even peeking him? I would have just saved, you know.
Marek's still alive. Get out of there, boys. Yeah, did he, like, jump and flick over half wall? Is that what I have? Is that what? Yeah.
I think so.
Here it is.
Bang.
Oh, okay. He was up close. All right. Less exciting.
Still exciting, though.
A little bit of a longer shot, but yeah. Mate,
it's the most exciting thing that's happened since that Magnums. I was going to say mangoes. Mangoes. Call them mangoes.
On top of a hill.
Man, what I would do to be at the tavern right now. Magnums has got the all-power dig side. Again, we're going to have a bit of a scrap over banana. Nice HE damage to FengDa, but still they've wrestled control of half wall. Crash has made his way up into the car.
There's been real no fight for banana out of BMZ, has there? It's been a very tucked back approach from them. Need to execute though now. 3-person defense from the CTs. A flash on in. P5P is going to be ready for it. All of them are ready for it, Pilski. Crash does get the opener onto Rita. P5P drops Fury, and it's all left onto Mello, who has to tuck back to E-Box. He's going to be punished for it, so it looks like it's going to be another relative freebie here for FengDa, and right now, as it stands, this is just looking like an absolute decimation. Afufu takes down Wonders and Magnums for free. We've got Fury on 1 kill. The rest of the members, no positives around. And as I said, you know, Magnums is being carried 6-6 off the back of his 1v4 pistol, so nothing really positive to say about the BMZ defense. Yeah.
That was just FengDa running the default. They were just looking at what was happening in B there. It was like 2 players top side of car, nicely timed flash, and they just crushed the B site. There was still 2 players committed over to 8. They just won the 3v3 skirmish on the B site. And I just could not tell you what is cooking in China right now. Every single Asian event that I cast, there's a new Chinese team that is doing some serious damage that I've not really seen play before. Back to back to back, changed the game into Morningstar, and now FengDa are about to win ECL Cup number 2. I do not know what's going on over there, but I think the other regions are got to be feeling pretty scared at this point.
Whatever's in the water. Who bloody knows? Something about that Lagamma.
Ooh, there you go, Fury.
I was waiting for that. But it's not really going to matter if they do try to take this control over Banana again. P5P spots out Magnums. Oh, Rita, he's in such a tricky situation here, isn't he? Only 37 points of HP. P5P is going to be able to take him down again. It's a split defense once more. You know, they've got 4 alive, 4 FengDa, 1 only trying to hold down Solo with the MP9 at the end of apartments. You know what real estate is. It's bloody expensive too, so I don't know if he's going to be able to pay the rent for long.
Smokes deploy to coffins and spawn. FengDa really just trying to bait out a reaction. They're quite happy to take their time here. Scout at the backside of the site, dislodged by a Fufu. And Magnum's inside of the smoke. Needs to repeat his 5th around play, or it's going to be 7 for FengDa.
Smoke fades. Got a chance, but he's made a couple too many footsteps. He had to crept a little bit more creepily around the corner, a little bit more silent. Could have been an opportunity there, but, you know, pressure's always on. Hindsight, 2020.
Oh. Wonders
and a
has
free
pitched it
orb.
all.
Why not?
Just left it behind. Quite nice.
Hurry vision orb too, powerful.
I thought King was the only one who gives orbs away.
Iconic moment.
He did it as well in the game we just casted, me and Jordan. He bought
Did it again.
So he got a 4K CT pistol, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then he bought an orb and Kevlar in round 2, and they got ecoed, and Chelios picked up the orb and was like, oh, thanks.
Thanks, man. I don't ever really rate the second round orb. Like, irrespective, it doesn't often succeed.
The thing is, it can be good with when the Galil forces and stuff are coming in. Like, that's what they played it against. So I actually rated the purchase. The problem was, like, in some of those rounds when they're quick, you know, the T's hit some sharp entries, your orb's just forced into a retake. And in a round like that, it's a bloody nightmare. May as well just save. But this is all, you know, theoretical stuff. What is happening before our eyes is something that I would not have even come up with in a hypothetical situation. FengDa are absolutely slapping BMZ. We have yet to see a reply from the Mongolians. Flash into Carps here, I'd imagine. Well, Fury was looking for it. There it is. Catch a Fufu.
Probably the best real opportunity for BMZ to try and defend here. 4 members hungry. Flash into brackets for Fury to try and take this forward thinking control, but Rita already punished, taken so low, but same could be said for both P5P and Marek. A swing in and a 3-pointer shot from Wonders. Fufu does get the trade out accordingly, but now they've just sort of simmered down.
Fufu just tucked up in carpets. Bit of an AWP standoff here. 2 players to either site for the CT side for BMZ, and FengDa looked like they were thinking about grouping up towards B. Trash trying to cause as much of a distraction as he possibly can. 14 seconds on the site. Did pull Fury back in towards jungle side, and that left Magnum solo in the pit. FengDa have taken the site here.
Over rotation, hey? Again, they are calling a pretty decent game of Counter-Strike. Now Fury on the rotation. Oh, P5P actually does go for the peak at the right time. He gets the information, but unfortunately can't connect on the shot quick enough for Fufu. Ready for it. Now that Molotov goes down from 3GL, it's really awkward for Rita. Taken down again. Rifle or AWP. This man looks good. Irrespective. Gets another on the swing to Mellow. FengDa just continue to punch down and down and down. 8th round now secured. 7 the distance. Only the pistol for BMZ. And again, it is just a complete and utter change from that upper bracket final that we saw a couple of days ago. Right now, FengDa are only 5 rounds away from taking themselves to the Asia Pacific finals.
Quick smokes down middle and towards bottom of banana. Like, BMZ wanting to kind of change up the narrative and deny some information and some space to FengDa early on, but that's not really going to slow P5P down. He's already made his way towards half wall. Blocked by the smoke for now and pushed away. Not much utility left over on this B side of the map. It's just Rito with one set. No flashes to enable any more aggression from the CT side. Really up to FengDa to make the next move here.
Once again, able to waltz into a relatively uncontested banana. Rita really trying to take point around Car here. Now as the utility does start to march their way out, Rita wants to try and find the good fight. He will be able to get one. Mello also picking up the other. Looking like a half-decent defense finally coming out from BMZ here, unless 3GL has something to say about it. Trash also getting another. They've actually been able to break and enter in towards the side here, Pilski. They should be able to find the plant. The smoke is starting to dissipate. However, they don't have anything to reestablish it. It's just going to have to be the duel, be the fight. Already moving around construction. 3GL looking to get another one, but he's taken down by Wonders. If that shot connected, it could have been definitely on for the 2v5, but it's a response that is desperately needed from BMZ. They get themselves on the board. Finally, a gun round. And with 3 alive, it'll take a small amount of the pressure off.
A nice retake. Everyone pitching in to bring BMZ the first round since the pistol. Good job holding onto half wall there, just trusting that sandbag setup, put them in an advantageous retake. And we're able to win it out from there. Not putting a dent in FengDa's economy, though. They're going to be buying out the half, so you got to win gun rounds on gun rounds to even claim yourselves 4 measly rounds on this CT side. And from there, it's going to be a long slog on T side for BMZ to get it done.
Another good opening, man. Magnum's punished once more for trying to fight the good fight. Now they are looking to, again, continue to hold on towards this position, and they will be rewarded for it. Finally seeing a bit of a moment where BMZ are going to try to take some control down Banana. They'll be given it for free. It's not quite for free. I guess it's the 1-for-1, but Mello gets a little bit of a spot down, has a look, pulls away now. Rotation comes back in. They've completely given up B.
Yeah, Mello just going and picking up that smoke towards main now. Bracket smoke in reply from FengDa. Trying to deprive the CTs from any information on the A side of the map and make them wary of the A pop. And in the meantime, picking up Banana hand in hand. P5P and Trash. Clear out half wall and sandbags with a little cheeky boost here. There's a jungle wrap smoke to further deprive Rita of information. He gets blocked with 38 seconds to go, but Mello is going to have to do some wonders here. Had a pretty good map 1. He's been quiet so far.
Real big chance. Try and get a couple more of these rounds back as the half does dwindle out. Mello does get a little bit of a spam here. Actually does manage to find P5P. Yeah, really well done. Crash will be able to afford the trade, but now they have to try and find this bomb plan if they're going to fight it. If they can't take down Fury, it could get awkward. But Marek is there to defend. All left onto a Fufu and Marek. Now Marek also dropping Wonders. Rita in the 1 versus 2, and a Fufu will take him down. A single round recovery for BMZ before FengDa do find another back. The AKs are in hand. The money's good. And unfortunately, well, BMZ, they are going to be able to invest here for the most part into this final round of the half. But again, they just haven't really had a chance to get into this map at all.
Love that from Trash. Takes matters into his own hands. Loses the planter to a spam, but knowing the A1S has only got so many bullets, just runs him down on Coffin's side. Volley up, 3GL. Makes it across to Logs. He wanted to get active early on in this round with the AWP. Got a little bit of help from the rest of the boys. Unfortunately, not allowed to do anything. Rita with 2 straight through the smoke. There's 2 more players where that came from, though. And they're passing each other back to back inside of the smoke. This could be massive.
Damn. Big 3 for Rita. Would have to be the 1v5 clutch. P5P. It's just not going to happen, is it? Magnums is going to be able to take him down. There we go. I guess, look, at the end of the day, the 9-3 scoreline can always be a little bit of a cursed half. It was the former 11-4 that we always used to talk about. But, yeah, after a very, very strong start out from FengDa, they were up at one point in time, 9-1, 8-1. But we do see a couple of final moments out of BMZ after obviously winning the pistol at the very beginning. But is 3 going to be enough? Or will FengDa be able to close this one out and book themselves a ticket into that Asia Pacific final? We'll find out after that. Dealing with a 9-3 scoreline at the half. FengDa still holding on to the lead right now over BMZ, and it's looking like a bit of a bittersweet return to form for them. BMZ feeling the revenge of FengDa right now. However, there still is always time. There still is a chance. We do switch the halves in what could potentially be the final half of the series and Cup 2.
Taking a little bit of a moment to let things simmer. FengDa have just been playing lights out CS today. Really, really love what I'm seeing from them and hoping that they can keep it up going forward in the future. Might not be the most stacked ECL Cup in terms of all the teams participating. I know that things are getting a little bit sweaty as we get closer and closer to the VRS major cutoff. Please, for the love of God, switch off Wonders. Thank God. But I still think that they've made their way through some pretty decent opposition to potentially win this cup here. So I think as they move into something like an Asia Pacific Finals, if they're able to get this game of Inferno across the line, I'd love to see them have a good performance over there as well. They have to earn it, though. It's not done yet, and BMZ now onto the T side. They have got a lot of work to do. It would be a phenomenal comeback if they're able to put it together. It's going to take some lock-in from some of the individuals as well.
Relatively silent approach. In contrast against the opening pistol, which had a hell of a lot of energy. Just immovable at this point in time. BMZ trying to hunt up over towards B, seeing what Magnums can find. But again, they are immovable objects right now, FengDa.
Smoke goes on the spawn side. Magnum's creeping into the site. Just a heat and potty setup. The backside of things. One flash from 3GL could kick this all off. Up over the top of Newbox. Does fully blind Magnus, but he just tucks into Barbecue. In the meantime, BMZ are walking into A.
I've noticed they've not seen the bomb. Marek's called it, said do not move, guys. Afufu's still here inside the pit. It's going to be tough for him to hold, but Marek does find Wonders. And he might be able to even hold on further here unless Rita has something to say about it. I don't think we've actually seen Afufu show his hand just yet. Should be able to find Fury here. Not quite yet, but the HE does go out. Will it connect? No. Doesn't get on towards the site there. They're making their way in now. Mello sitting over towards the cubby side. Oh, God, it's getting really uncomfortable for FengDa now, isn't it? This has been a brilliant pistol round so far for BMZ. Able to hold on to it. Damage done. Rita drops another. He's already on for 3 here. It's been a glorious round for him. Now looking for the finale as well. He even goes for the cheeky little flick, but doesn't quite happen. Trash. One good one on the exit. Make that a second, but that will be the round going the way of BMZ. So we are well and truly not done in this series just yet.
Yeah, much needed pistol from them. Rita coming alive inside of the A site. Afufu was definitely presenting a threat there, and the man just runs him down inside of the pit with a nade in hand. That's the confidence you want to be seeing. Plays up Marek. Get to see the second. Trash, a couple of exits here at the end. 2 from him, and he holds onto the armor. So if you do get a force buy in from FengDa, which we do, you are going to see a significant amount of investment. And funnily enough, for Trash, it's a full belt of util with a 5.7, and he's going to hold 1k in the pocket for 3GL's ult.
Free smoke towards top Nana. Molotov trying to flush them out. It's just a gentle exchange of utility at this point in time. And no real sort of control being taken. FengDa not in the apartments, not in top Nana. Allowing BMZ to kind of take space around the map.
Bits of util being sprinkled in there, just trying to unsettle BMZ. Multiple nades towards the top side of Nana. You had the pot flash on bracket side. Is the util set from BMZ. Denying any information to FengDa on the A side of the map. Doesn't pull an additional rotation over. Couple of grenades left here for FengDa. Majority of them sit on trash towards that B site. That's where the bomb is heading.
Really slow approach, isn't it? Giving it down to not a hell of a lot of time. If we see something come out from these pistols, that Molotov being held for so bloody long, Pilski. It's even going to be a flash being banged in. Damage dealt onto Wonders. Mello going high, but unfortunately they just can't quite get the damage done. I mean, there's only 10 seconds. They should be able to get on towards the site now for free. Marek can deny. Oh, if Marek can deny, it would have been beautiful, but no. They've taken lots and lots of damage, but unfortunately, FengDa are unable to quite connect onto it. So BMZ, they break out of jail, which was the top of Nana. They take the site, and they'll be afforded with a 5th round as a reward.
Yeah, could have got out of control, though. I think if that volley was held for an extra second or two, and some of the 5.7s got a little bit more damage done, then that could have been a different story. You could see how low Fury and Rita were. Definitely a couple of dinks handed out there, but not converted on. So as it stands, nice try from FengDa, but still 4 rifles survived from BMZ. And be quite happy with that anti-force.
Happy days. As mentioned, FengDa yet to sort of activate really here. But again, you know, any sort of round being chipped away at by BMZ. Them a little bit more of an opportunity to get back into this.
Do a technical pause. Really just a absolute classic of Challenger League at this point. Can't go a broadcast without having a tech pause.
Be rude not to, really.
Where are the horses, though? You know? You always hear them, but you never see them.
Daryl Braithwaite. He's coming.
I don't even know what that means.
We go riding on the horses, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wake up in the sky, little darling.
Be un-Australian not to know that song.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know you were into the dad rock so heavily, but I guess it's kind of getting to that time, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just that song that's kind of played at everything you go to that has a live band.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's fair. That was the only thing that let me down at the tavern, that the live music was... Yeah.
The horses wasn't played.
True,
enough,
okay.
To be honest,
You should have been that really, like, pushy guy that's, like, had a little bit too much. You know, just go and get in their face.
Hey!
Come on, man, play the horses song.
Bro, just play it, man. My favorite.
Fellows cop the dink. A Fufu up close inside of the apartment. Takes off Magnum's head, but traded out by Wonders. So, crisis averted for now. Yo, Renegade sticker? Okay. Man knows ball. Wonders is my new favorite player.
Still crazy seeing the Marek stickers from Budapest on his AK somewhere that I've seen around.
You know, come to think of it, though, like, how many Renegade stickers do you actually see on average?
Not many.
Like, never. Are they worth a lot, or does no one want a little red man on their AK?
I can't remember which, like... Oh, no, it's always Greyhound stickers, pretty sure. Not sure if I was sort of a fan of it during the Renegades era for that short resurgence where they bought the order roster.
Well, look, speaking of Australian players, they love to get E-codes, so maybe BMZ have brought on that curse just by running that sticker on the MP7.
Mate, we saw plenty of ecos over the course of this cup so far. And P5P does drop Rita in the process. So look, you know, this is a real chance for it. Dark got to be cleared. There's a little bit of a duel there. It's an interesting choice to smoke him in. But we'll see if it pays off for him, Cotton. Moving in towards the back of the site. Now, there's going to be no time, but damage is pretty good here. I don't think he's going to be able to save the AK. That bomb radius is a little bit gnarly. How far is he going to get? He's okay.
He's all right. Nice 4K from P5P, and yeah, absolutely. Takes a lot of extra cash out of the pockets of BMZ here, and these are the kind of moves that you need to make to potentially secure the game later down the track. They're on the verge of double digits here, FengDa, but make no mistake, BMZ are slowly but surely coming back into this game. Full buy comes back through, which has cost them a lot. They've got no loss bonus behind this.
Really gnarly opening there from Mello. FengDa losing that member. A little bit stonewalled. They still are pressing the issue, though, a little bit. Smoke does fade. Pretty happy to pull away, though, however, with that opening pick from VMZ. They don't need to press the issue any further.
Like FengDa are itching for a re-aggression here, though. You can understand why with the man disadvantage. Dropped off 3GL. He's posted up on that info line, but I don't know if he's going to be ready for Mello to be tugged in at logs. The rest of FengDa have rotated back towards the A site, but if you lose the AWP here, that's probably just going to be the round. He does seem like he's cottoned on to the fact that there's a T tucked up nice and close to the new finest vintage. He's going to take Rita out of the equation. Sticks around on half wall. That's a ballsy play that pays off well. Man, advantage now for FengDa.
They got a long way to rotate, though, around, don't they? They're going to still be applying this additional pressure to try and get in towards B. 3GL holding from the back of side. He's been spotted. Wonder's heading around the pillar, but Marek is going to be able to be the savior. And look at the rotation now. Oh, no. They might have actually blundered here. They should have control of the site. I don't think P5P wants to push in too aggressively too early. They're going to allow the plant. Go in for the 3-on-2 on the retake. Still a tough ask here for FengDa. No kits.
Don't really have any unfair positioning either. Like, you'd love to have a player wrapping boiler or into apartments or something like that right now as BMC, but they're playing very standard positions. Gonna have to be a multi-frag from Mini Pit here from Fury. P5P creeping through Carps now. Fury pops his head up and pops off Marek's.
Don't know if he's going to be ready for the apartments member. P5P still trying to take point here. Drops down, gets the kill, but again, I don't think they've actually got any time. No kit, no time. Oh, no, he's got the kit. Hang on.
It's close. That is gorgeous. Lovely stuff from FengDa right in the last second to secure double digits after taking every single gun away from BMZ in the round previous. Gorgeous play on the AWP from 3GL. This is just ballsy as all hell to stay around at half wall. Go for another. Complete the retake successfully hand in hand with P5P. Really, really well worked. Now you can see that puts a bit of spanner in the works here for BMZ. With the bomb plant, that shores things up a little bit, but still they're down to 2 Tech 9s and a Mac 10 just to put this buy together.
They almost lost it in the 2-on-4, didn't they? Just having that separated defense. Mello, playing with fire there, my friend, but I guess P5P is doing the exact same. A bit of a stalemate. Damage dealt for damage taken.
Volley to half wall. Crash trying to see if he can force anyone out of the open, and this might be the regression off the back of the coffin splash from P5P. There's carts cleared back out for FengDa, and they've locked that control in with the half wall smoke. BMZ in the meantime have taken control of bracket. Double smoke onto Carps. They really do not want to make... They really want to make sure no one's coming out of that position, but it's going to be a jungle route from the T's here.
Big ask for Marek. There is the additional support. They actually look to flash in. They're up so close. Marek with one, not quite the second. P5P able to do the damage, but he does get dropped by Rita. And that's a AK recovered. I don't think 3GL is going to be going for the pot shot yet. They're actually going around the world. 3GL holds the line and holds the time. Does manage to see the rotation come in, but surely we're going to hear the footsteps wrapping on in from Trash. Rita has no idea, no clue. And what do? FengDa with 11, money reset. This should surely be curtains here now for BMZ.
You're going to need something special out of them. Don't think they're going to be buying into this next one unless they really want to cut some corners. I mean, money still not great for FengDa, and they are going to go for all the marbles here. They'd rather chance their hand at 2 Tech 9 forces than just having one kind of mediocre buy and an eco. Want to stop FengDa from getting to match point. 3GL on the line. Cannot give opportunities to the AWP. Hello, lucky to be alive. And I think like we are going to get a reset here. No damage done. Rita has timed out, so get a reset and continue along our merry way. Too much info for either one of the teams. There was only 2 smokes really committed into Nana and a smoke end of Carps that BMZ didn't see.
All in order. Yeah, man. Pretty crazy to think about. We see a victory this dominant from FengDa. It's quite a statement given the previous series that these 2 teams did face off against each other on.
Reaches back in. And doesn't seem like BMZ want to change anything up at all. Again, a reinvestment in the Tech 9s and armor. There we go. Guns back in the hands of FengDa. So everything restored back to where it should rightfully be. BMZ going for broke here. Haven't had a particularly awe-inspiring performance today in the final. Honestly, they've been kind of running the gauntlet through this entire qualifier. As a team, I think they had a 1.2 rating overall, and the next highest team was like 1.06. So it kind of gives the feeling that they've been firepower diffing a lot of teams and winning some pretty one-sided games, but tested quite heavily in this final by FengDa. And some of the outstanding performers a little bit quieter of a day at the office from them. 3GL once again given the opportunity to get that shot over on T stairs, but doesn't take it.
Have the slow approach. No brawl for Nana. Really just buying that additional time, leaving the single member of Wonders to go looking. Just waiting to pop themselves into Nana.
Refreshing that half-wall smoke. Some utilities juggled over on the A side of the map. Mello left at logs. There's the smoke to bracket side. A very slow round from BMZ. Starting to get a little bit worried that they're going to time themselves out of this. And you can see just how many more mollies are being held into the mid to late round by FengDa. They are waiting for the T's to make their next move before they try to catch them with some round-ending utility.
Could be game-ending. 35 seconds, Pilski. The execution does start to come through right now. Mello still on the other complete postcode. Wonders does manage to drop a Fufu in the process. They also get into pit, but now look at this aggression that they actually have to flood in towards Banana. Trash is going to be able to look to hold the cross, and he's just tapping them down. My God. Neck-breaking approach here for Trash. Magnums has to try and do it all completely solo. He actually might be able to afford himself a plant. They are still relatively separated. I don't think that's a good idea for Trash here. Is there a weapon recoverable, though, for Magnums? I don't think so. If he can slot in, if he actually manages to find 3GL, a genuine chance here if he looks to get onto this AWP and try to pick it up, but I just don't think they're interested. 3GL's just going to try and hold that line, but when you can flick like that, no way you're going to cross. And once again, it is absolutely every single person of FengDa stepping up to the plate, hitting it out of the park. Teamwork makes the dream work, Pilski, and we are sitting on map and grand final point. Looks like FengDa may very well get their revenge and book themselves a slot into that Asia-Pacific final.
They're just playing such great CS. Like, the T-side calling has been phenomenal. The mid-rounding there between P5P and Trash was perfect. They recognized that it was a jungle wrap. They don't just sit around and turtle in the site, wait for the rotations to come in. They take matters into their own hands, deck the player on Banana, and then catch the T's on the cross, trying to come across main into the site. Really, really well worked. Bomb plant has given BMZ a better buy than they had in the last round, though, but P5P is up close and personal bottom Banana. It's not something that BMZ have had to deal with yet.
Into position. And it's a Fufu to get the opening here onto Magnums. They are just dropping like flies, slowly dwindling. P5P does go a little bit too aggressive, but 3GL is going to be able to get that pick right back up, and it's Trash to hold on as well. 2 members remain. It's Mello, it's Rita. Rita is trapped solo here up towards the top of brackets. A Fufu will spot him, and yeah, look, Mello has gone for a little bit of a half Mara around the map. Giving me flashbacks to a run of around a certain location only a couple of weeks back. But this time, 3GL will be able to take down Mello. It is GG victory going the way of FengDa. 13-9 on Ancient, 13-6 here on Inferno, Pilski, and I think now we can finally get a little bit more of a deeper understanding. That very well could be BMZ botching this veto a little bit, right? Floating Inferno, no real reps on the map. They ban it out regularly. They let FengDa get it through. They've front picked it, and it's paid absolute dividends for them. What a way to win out this competition, and great revenge. It must feel fantastic to be a FengDa fan right now and a Marek enthusiast.
Yeah, FengDa, I mean, excellent performance from them in this ECL Cup. Definitely deserving of a spot in the Asia Pacific Finals. Morningstar claimed the first spot as well in the first cup, so I guess Chinese teams are just built different right now. Unfortunately, some of the other opposition not really able to put up good enough teams to be able to deal with what the Chinese teams have on offer right now. I mean, you had Chinggis Warriors in attendance, Rare Adam. I mean, if I've heard from some people that FengDa is somewhat of a Rare Adam academy. Rare Adam finished 9th to 12th, guys. So I'm starting to scratch my head a little bit at this one, to be honest. I don't know if that's factual or not. Alter Ego out in 3rd, Cube out in 4th, back-to-back 4th places for Cube. So very consistent placements from them as a Mongolian squad. And for BMZ, I mean, rough. It looked like they just ran through this qualifier. They beat the Cup 1 winners of Morningstar 2-0. They beat Just Swing 2-0, another pretty solid Chinese team. They absolutely dominate FengDa. They were just knocking Chinese teams into the lower bracket every which way as they ran their way into the grand final. But FengDa was just built different today.
Looking really, really good. And it's exciting, man, you know, because I think the best summary about this FengDa team in this series specifically was that all of them played very, very good Counter-Strike. You know, it was exciting, it was well drilled, good individual moments of prowess from pretty much all of the members as well. So, you know, Trash obviously with the MVP did sit there at the tippy top of both of those maps, but overall, it was definitely an effort by committee, and I think FengDa should be very, very proud of the performance that they put up here in the ESL Challenger League Asia Season 51 Cup 2. Of course, there is still 2 more cups to go, 3 and 4, which will be over the next couple of weeks before, obviously, the Asia Pacific final does land up in the end of May. But that is obviously going to be us all done for the evening. We did manage to see Oceania crown another victor. It was Thunder Down Under in the opening cup. And now we've had Semperfi come through as well. So it's a really sort of exciting affair right now. There's plenty of Asian and Oceanic Counter-Strike still running along in general. But look, from us, it's going to be farewell. Good night. Have a fantastic time for the rest of the day, wherever you are. And we hope to see you next time here for ESL Challenger League.